Well, our bodies came with no manual, unfortunately. Now we finally have one. That's the body code, of course. It's the body manual. Well, the body can act like a lie detector or polygraph and gives measurable responses when presented with truth or falsehood. And isn't that cool? So your conscious mind is the part of you that seems to think, make decisions, listen, remember things, etc. It's really probably only about 10% or less of your intelligence. Okay? The subconscious is the other 90% of your intelligence. And that's really an archiving computer. It's archiving everything all the time, every moment of the day. Every face you've ever seen in a crowd, everything you've ever eaten or tasted or touched or smelled, it's all in there in that subconscious mind. And so we can access that information. Pretty cool. So measurable by lie detector, for example. We can ask yes or no questions and get answers from the body by simply using muscle testing. There's a list in the mind of every single person. There's a list in your mind right now of the things that need to be done to get you well. And when I was in practice, I knew I could access that list. And that's really where the rubber hits the road, right, is in that list. I didn't really care after a while. I didn't really care so much what symptoms people were presenting with. I mean, I cared, but I didn't care. Because I got to a point where I knew that no matter what name or label had been stuck on their forehead, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, things like that, whatever, it didn't matter. I knew that the real true underlying causes of their symptoms were the true underlying imbalances. And I knew I could find those. So it got to a point where I just didn't really care too much. What I was after was the imbalances. And I remember once, word of this kind of apparently got out a little bit. Because there was a woman that came to me one day, and she came into my office, and I had her chart there, and I opened it up, and all that she had filled out was her name, basically. She had her name. Well, I guess she put her address in there. But she didn't put in any symptoms or anything, and I thought, oh, there's been a mistake made. You're going to need to fill out the rest of your paperwork. And she said, well, I want you to figure out what's wrong with me. Okay. So that was interesting. But I was able to figure out really what her underlying imbalances were, right? And it worked fine. So you can actually do that. Kind of fun. So anyway, that list in the mind contains all the things that need to be done to bring your body back to 100% function, okay? So let's talk about muscle testing. And I know that for a lot of you this is a review, but we do have people here that are really new to this, so let's take a look here. The body gives a physical response when we tell the truth or a lie. The muscles of the body are weakened when we lie. They stay strong when we tell the truth. I need to volunteer. Anyone? Okay, come on up. Oh, by the way, never volunteer for this unless you're okay with being seen by millions. Okay? No stress, but, right? Because we are videotaping. So, what's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. Say, my name is Rachel.
My name is Rachel.
She says her name is Rachel. I'm going to press down on her outstretched arm, and she's nice and strong, right? Say, my name is Jim.
My name is Jim.
Her name is Jim, and what happens? She's weak. Okay, there you go. Thank you very much. So that's pretty simple. That shoulder joint should stay locked against pressure, and it'll unlock, basically, if the person is saying something incongruent or untrue, etc.